So, hello guys, I'm just a kid. My name is Ranjan. Welcome back to my channel. So, yesterday I was playing a tournament in Lichess, and as you can see, the tournament's name was 2021 Spring Marathon. And these marathons happen once a season, and so because this is the spring season, it is this 2021 Spring Marathon. And I played a very interesting game. I was playing it yesterday and it became a very interesting game. I would like to show you that. So let's go. So first let's go to the analysis board so that we can analyze the game properly. Okay. So e4, e5, knight f3, and knight f6. So I was playing the Stafford, and the idea of the Stafford is knight takes c5, c6, c6, d takes c6, and a move like d3. I would play bishop to c5, bishops to c5. And then say my opponent, say he would try to castle kingside quickly, say bishop to e2, and then I would play h5 and say a move like castles. Then I would have played knight g4. So, and if takes now, I take. And basically the idea is that I go here and this is checkmate and I would win the game, and it would be chaos for white. And although Stockfish is giving the position quite equal, it is hard to keep it equal for white at this stage. So now let's move on. But this didn't happen. This is just one of the tricks in Stafford. This didn't happen. What happened was he declined the gambit by playing knight c3. I still played bishop c5, still offering him the pawn, and this time he took it and hence accepted the Stafford Gambit. I play knight c6 as in theory. Now d4, I'm not sure it's a good move. Yeah, white was +2 here, and with d4 the position only became equal. I took with bishop, knight takes c6, I traded, d takes c6. Now this queen protects this bishop, so white's queen cannot capture my bishop. So bishop d3 was played by white. I castled, he castled, I played bishop g4, and here the only good move as Stockfish suggests is queen e1, and my opponent played it. Now I played rook e8, h3 was what I was expecting, and I played bishop e6, bishop g5 as Stockfish suggests, and pawn to h6, bishop h4, and queen d6. Now notice that if white thinks that, oh, I can take his knight, and he would have to recapture with pawn, and this kingside structure, pawn structure would be very bad. But that is not the case, because if white takes my knights, I take back with bishop and not with my pawn. Yeah, but basically trading off his bishop with my knight is not what many players would do. So let's move on now. Now queen d6, look at the position. white slightly better, but the position is quite equal. And let's see major pieces. How many major pieces white has? 2 rooks, and I have 2 rooks, so equal there. A queen, and I have a queen, so equal there. Now let's take a look at the minor pieces. So I have a bishop, a dark squared bishop. He has a dark squared bishop. I have a light squared bishop. He has a light squared bishop. I have a knight, and he has a knight. And now let's take a look at the pawns. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns. And white also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns. So the only difference I could spot at the moment is that white has 4 pawns on the king side, whereas I have only 3 pawns on the king side, but I have 4 pawns on the queen side, whereas white only has 3 pawns on the queen side, and I have a doubled pawn on the c file, whereas white doesn't have any doubled pawn or tripled pawn. So white's slightly better in this position. And so when you evaluate this position, you can say that white is slightly better or the game is equal. Bishop g3. Did you look at that? Now it's -6. White was +1 almost, and now he became -6. Wow. And so the key and great move, as Stockfish is suggesting, and as I played in the game actually, is queen takes g3. An absolute shocking move. Why? Because the pawn can't recapture my queen, because then white hangs his king, and so when I take the king, the game is over for white and I'm in it. So I actually cannot take my queen. He basically can't even move this pawn. So when he gave bishop g3 white, at that moment you can see that this bishop was unprotected, as it was not protected by this pawn because my bishop was pinning it to the king. So I simply took it, easy and simple. And now white's best try would have been to go knight e2, and I would simply have played queen d6. And if he traded up with my bishop, which Stockfish suggests to, then you can see white is -6, which means we are +6, and we have a great opportunity to win the game, and we are a whole bishop up. That's great. But I didn't even play that. I didn't play knight e2. Instead, white played rook d1, an absolutely careless move, not even caring about my dangerous attack, and this is basically mate in 2. So white would have resigned here. So bishop into h3, and there is absolutely no way that he can give me check to delay his checkmate, and he cannot protect his own king from checkmate, as no piece is there to protect the g2 pawn, and once I take it with my queen, it is checkmate. At this position, white resigned, and I had my bishop hanging and my queen hanging, but white resigned. But both my pieces were actually not hanging, because he couldn't take my queen, because then his king would hang, and he couldn't take my bishop, because then my queen would capture his king. And in both cases, he would lose the game. So I think it was a beautiful game and a very, very nice game. Thank you, everybody. Please subscribe to my channel by pressing the bell icon below.